The cards speak. Justice listens. Welcome to the unseen. Truth doesn't hide forever, not from the eyes that see. Spirits stir, clues awaken. Let the seeing begin. Behind every crime, a shadow speaks. I'm Lady Zelda. Welcome to Seeing Crime. Hello, my darlings, and welcome to you. I think you can hear me. We are this close to a Mercury retrograde. Good evening, my darlings. Good evening to my beautiful mods, and good evening to True Oracle, who are here. Oh my goodness, I've got so much to tell you. Hello and welcome. Unfortunately, this will be the last episode of Help I'm Haunted for 2025. We may sneak one in, maybe New Year's. Something. Anyway, my darlings, I'm so glad that you are here. I've got so much to tell you. I don't even know where I start. Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to start. All of you have been asking about the water situation here. And by the way, my friends, if I ever say to you that I want to permanently live in a condominium again, make sure that you timestamp this moment and remind me. Because the building, well, there's a divide between another unit and myself, and then there's one upstairs. All of a sudden, there's water going everywhere, and I can hear it literally running. I look outside, I go outside, and there's things like water spurts coming out of the ground. And I'm thinking, holy moly, what's going on? And there was a man and the neighbor rushing and taking furniture out of this unit. And I'm thinking, holy moly, what has happened? So I said, look, I don't know how I can help. I don't know what's going on, but can I help you? And he said, no. He said, the people next door were rented, the landlord, I guess, because I'm in an area where it's a lot of university students. So the landlord, I guess, pulled up a toilet and yanked it because they couldn't get it off of the floor. And holy moly, as in yanked the whole pipes, and the pipes burst within the wall. And they tried to do something and they backed up, and listen, it was so bad. I had to laugh in a way. The parking lot was like water. It's a good thing that the weather did not get cold, because we would have been skating. And I can hear them sawing and everything over here now. So, so time out. I don't know if you can hear them sawing, but they're sawing. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't cry. I feel so bad for this person, but a couple things I want to share with you. First of all, in the midst of the muck, the mire, and the mayhem, beautiful Virginia sent this beautiful, it's another graph notebook, and I love those. They're just wonderful. They've got, these little things that I love. They've got just beautiful pockets back here, a pen holder. It's perfect for the Zeldon Codex case system. And it is now available, my darlings, on the website if you want your numerology on steroids done. Pop on over there. I've left a link in the description, and the mods have the link in the chat. That's from Virginia. At the same time, I got another one from Debbie. And Debbie not only sent this, a pink, beautiful pink, she also sent another little goodie. Let me put, this is like running the cockpit of an airplane. I want you to know. Look at this cup. Now I have these cups, and I love having a set, you know. Look at this. Does this not look 3D to you? So thank you, Debbie, for that. Now, here's the funny part. Funny, but not so funny. Thank God this was packaged. I mean, look at the styrofoam for years on here, so it was fine. I hear the Amazon truck pull up. He's sitting out there. I hear him getting out and going, hello. I go outside, and he goes, catch. And he tosses my packages at me. He couldn't get through because the water was too deep. So, you know, I'm standing here and, you know, hey, go long, you know, this sort of thing, right? So that was kind of funny, but I'm also going to tell you another thing. The beautiful shampoo, the carpet cleaner, I call it a shampooer because I'm from 1970 something or other. The carpet cleaner that Miss Andrea got me came in like a champ because I saw water starting to come in. I hooked that baby up and took care of it immediately. There would have been no way because the old one I burned up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you. Well, they were telling people not to come and step in the water because they had electrical, they had electrical things. They had cords, I wouldn't have wanted them to. Yes. So thank you, my darling auntie. So thank you there. So Swamazon is right. You guys are so generous. And just as a little reminder, and you guys are so cute, since I am your favorite grifting psychic, I might be the only grifting psychic, but since I'm your favorite grifting psychic, I thought I would put that up there. And thank you in advance for your generosity, because you guys always are so generous to me. Now, there's been a lot going on. Yes, and you wrote that sweet little beautiful, sweet message from the 4 fur boys and Virginia. Hold on. I got a little, where is that? Sound. Here's the applause. Thank you, StreamYard. They're trying to keep up, I guess, with the Joneses. So anyway, my darlings, all is well and all is good. So now we have a birthday, and it's Gina's birthday. So before we go any further, Gina is 29 years wild. Bless you, Gina. So here we go, everybody. I want everybody to welcome and to wish beautiful Gina a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Pardon my voice. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gina. Happy birthday to you and many more. Oops, that was a birthday from Tarzan. Okay. And pardon me, but that was Petey that walked by and kicked me off. They've been turds. They've been turds. So thank you so much. Yes, I came back. I'm back. Can't get rid of me that easy. So my darlings, hold on. We've got somebody coming through. Oh, it's Sam. She's just walking through. If you would see what the contraption that I had to fit behind my monitor on my table are 2 boxes from Amazon. And they fit like a little pretzel in those boxes because they have to be there. Yes, this is Petey standing here looking. They have to fit with me and has to come here. So there we go. Yes, and it is also Cat Randall's birthday. Shall we sing yours tonight or Saturday? Let's do it Saturday when my voice is a lot better. Let's do that. If we can. Thank you. He is the one who sits in the bathroom and looks in the mirror at himself. This is what I raise. And he's learned how to turn on the bathroom faucet. So at night, I hear the water running. It's not paranormal. It's paranormal Petey, who sits in the sink and lets the water run on him. I do not know. All right. Well, let's do that Saturday night. Patty's birthday is Monday. Holy moly, we got birthdays around us. So this is going to be a night. I want you all to get your snacks, have a little potty break, relax, do your thing, and I want you to get ready. You may have heard this story before, but I've got a visual for you. And this is going to be something that you possibly have not ever heard before. My goodness, I've got cats going crazy. So here we are. Hold on. There we are. Okay. Let me set the center stage for you, my darlings. Get my notes. Because I got to have notes. Here we go. In 1965, Ron and Louise Defoe moved from Brooklyn into a house that was located on 112 Ocean Avenue. They and their 5 children christened the home as High Hopes. That's sad, isn't it? And for 9 years, the neighbors described this family to the New York Times as a nice, normal family. This was a large Dutch colonial revival house situated in a suburban neighborhood in Amityville in the South Shore of Long Island, New York. Long Island. On November 13th, my darlings, listen to this. November 13th, almost 51 years ago. On November 13th of 1974, 23-year-old Ronald Defoe Jr. unalived 6 members of his family in their home. That was an episode. He tried to fool the police. He went to a local bar, said that somebody had unalived his family, blamed it on the mob because he said his dad, was a mob sold cars, did things, involved with the mob. Finally, he admitted to the crime. There's more. So then, my darlings, on December 18th of 1975, the Lutz family, George and Kathy, with their 3 children, moved in. Much of the Defoe's family furniture remained in the house and was included for $400 as a part of the deal. Now you're going to know why later on why that was a bad idea. A friend of George Lutz learned about the history of the house and wouldn't let it go, insisted on having the house blessed. 28 days later, they fled from the home. They packed and they moved, and they left everything. It wasn't long after that, Ed and Lorraine Warren were summoned to the home, and Lorraine said she has never seen such a home active with demonic energy. The Lutzes divorced in the 1980s. Kathy passed away in 2004 of emphysema, while George passed away of a heart disease in 2006. Ironically enough, their children went on to deny that things went on in the home. I beg to differ. William Defoe Jr. passed away at the Sullivan Correctional Institute March 12th of 2021. He was 69 years old. He was serving 6 25-year-to-life sentences and was denied parole by the parole board several times. His death was announced in the New York Times on my birthday, March 15th. Some places never leave you, even after you've driven away. In September of 2016, I stood at the edge of Ocean Avenue in Amityville, Long Island, a street that hums with the kind of silence you can feel in your bones. The air was heavy. The house was impossibly still, and what I felt and saw there that day has stayed with me ever since. You think you're prepared when you read the books and you see the films and all that stuff, but standing there is different. The light bends a little oddly. Even the sound of your own breath seems to pull against you. I remember the creak of the front step, the way the air changed when I crossed the threshold, like the house was deciding whether or not to let me in. Tonight, I'll tell you exactly what happened inside that house when I visited the Amityville House in Long Island, New York. And I will also tell you the aftermath. So this may be a little long, my darlings, because I'm going to start from the beginning. I was living in Tennessee. Pardon me. Yes, and I have been drinking pickle juice like there's no tomorrow. I was living in Tennessee in 2016, and you know the story that my son told about Shrek, how I was dating Shrek? Well, Shrek's family lived in New York, Long Island. And when we got up there, they welcomed me with open arms. I loved his family. His mother was very good to me. Now, here's the thing. His mother was a retired real estate agent, and she came to us because they knew what I did, whatever. So there we go. Hold on. We've got Miss Janet, Misdemeanor. You're going to have to catch the replay, my darling. So don't you worry. We'll be here when you get back. But thanks for stopping in and saying hello. So glad that you're here. You have a good evening, honey. Thank you. And if you're not following Misdemeanor, you need to, because she's got all the T, all the X, Y, Z's, and she dots the I's and crosses the T's on her show. So I want you to go over there and follow her if you haven't. If you like true crime and the court cases, she's the one. She's the one. All right, so back to the story, my darlings. So we went up there. I was to meet the family. There was talk about he and I getting married. I wasn't interested. But that's neither here nor there, right? I mean, it doesn't make any difference. I wasn't interested. But I wanted to go to New York because we were going to stop by the Gettysburg area and the battlefields. So why would I miss up on a trip? So we go to New York. It's September. It's beautiful. It's kind of warm but chilly at night. The leaves were turned. It was beautiful. First time that I had been there. I've been to New York proper, but I've not been to Long Island and all that. I wanted to go to the Montauk Lighthouse. I wanted to go to all these places. That was a part of the plan until his mother came and said, because they know what I did. So it was kind of like, oh my gosh, we have a celebrity. I don't think that they did, whatever. So we were there, and his mom says, do you remember the Amityville horror? And I said, oh my, and horror is what I said. Horror. I said, oh my gosh, do I ever? I mean, I remember when that whole thing unfolded. She said, the house is for sale. I'm like, no, we have to go. She says, I'll get us in. I'll get us in. This was September of 2016. So she makes these phone calls. She calls the next day and she says, well, they need a proof of funds letter. I said, no problem, we'll get it. And she said, they want one for $850,000. I said, how much is the house listed for? She said 800. And I said, well, that just seems a little weird. But if they want one, we'll pull it together. I called my lawyer, pulled some strings, called in some chips. We got a proof of funds letter. Now, the rules were we could not take our cell phones. We could not do any of that. We couldn't take any of that in because they had a lot of people that just wanted to go and be nosy. Just like me, because I really had no intention of buying that house. But I heard so many stories of the Lutz family when they were there and the furniture of these people. And when you hear about all that furniture, no, it's not weird anytime, and especially when you go into a high-end house, if you don't have a mortgage, if you're not pre-approved, sellers want what they call a proof of funds. They want to know that you're able to pay for it before they start letting you into their house. It's a normal thing. I've had to do it for many homes. Not a biggie. So we make arrangements to go. It was supposed to be Shrek, his sister, his niece, and his mother. So we're excited. We're just so excited. We can't wait till we get there. We get there, we pull up, and the realtor is sitting on the road. Wasn't in the driveway. Now the driveway is kind of a shared driveway. It's concrete throughout, and it's a neighbor. And I'm like, okay. Now, the boathouse, which was really big in the movies and everything else, supposedly Mr. Lutz had an experience in the boathouse. I wanted to go in there first, and the realtor said, you can't go down there. I said, wait a minute. Hold the phone. I just gave you a proof of funds letter. I'm going to go. And he's like, no, you no. And I thought, okay. And so his mom is looking at me like, don't wipe out the realtor while we're here. We want to see this place. So anyway, we try to go in. Now, this realtor was a young man. He was shaking. It was on a lockbox and had a keypad on this house. So it was like double. They didn't want anybody to get in. Pardon me. He was shaking, trying to get the locks in, trying to get the key into the one lock. And I thought, oh boy, he's watched too many movies. Thank you, Jack. I said, oh my goodness, this guy's watched too many movies. So we go up to the front door and he won't go in. He said, there you go. And I said, well, what if we have any questions? He said, if you have any questions, you can, oh, that was Riley that just walked by. He said, if you have any questions, you can ask me when you come out. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this poor guy, he's freaked out. So I ground myself. I put my hand on the frame, the door frame. It was hot. And I thought, hi, Candy, my darling. So, hi, Rebecca. So the door frame is hot. And it shocked me. It didn't scare me. It shocked me for a minute because I ground myself always, and especially in this joint, I'm grounding myself. So we get in, and the realtor closes the door behind us. It is hotter than fire in that house. Hot. Like I had a coat on. I had a little jeans jacket. I thought I looked cute that day. I mean, time out. I always look cuter in the fall than I do in the anyway. I thought I looked cute that day. I had this heavy jeans jacket and a sweater on, and and I thought, oh my God, why is it so hot? And I mean, the water was, I was starting to perspire. His mom was too. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she went over, there was a thermostat in the hallway. And she said, it shows that it's off, but it shouldn't be this hot in here. I said, oh no, it's hot. We go in. Now we are at the foot of the stairwell that goes up. Now the stairwell, like when you walk, see, this is the front door right here. When you walk into the when you walk in immediately, kind of to the right, there's a stairway that goes up. There's a landing and a window on the other side of the house. And then it goes up to the second floor. There's a third floor. And in this room right here was Ronald Defoe Jr.'s bedroom. Over here was, I think, one of the girls' bedroom and then the boys' bedroom. I don't know. I don't remember how it lays out. Anyway, all of a sudden, Shrek goes in there's a door that goes to the front, and it would be this room like right here. So he goes in and he starts hopping around. He starts doing the, oh, come on. Come on, demons. The great Zelda is here. I'm thinking, oh, shoot. His mom looks at him and says, what are you doing? What is that? Now, time out. It was just his mom and I and Shrek that went into the home because the sister got weirded out, sat in the car, and the niece, the sister's daughter, was so weirded out. I know how it's pronounced, but I'm not going to pronounce it here the way it is because I don't want to call in that energy, but thank you. I know how it, I mean, they were weirded out. So we went in there. He's dancing around. Here she is. Here she is. And all of a sudden his face starts changing. I'm thinking, what the heck? So I looked at his mom and I said, I don't know about you, but I've had enough because the heat was so hot. We did not get past in that front. That's fine, Cupcake. We did not get further than the foyer or the foyer. He all of a sudden tears through and goes upstairs. And you can hear him running from room to room. I'm here. I'm here. Come and take me over. I'm here. I'm here. And he said, the great and powerful Zelda is here. And then he would go, ha, 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 ha. And I'm thinking, this guy is completely. And I wanted to break up with him before I knew that the moment that my hiney got over the Tennessee line, done. He's jumping and going all through the house, going through the basement. I turned around and looked at his mom and I said, I think it's time to go. She said, I think so too. I said, this just isn't even interesting or fun anymore. I don't know what is going on, but I don't want any part of it. We turned around and she tried to open the door and the door wouldn't open. She said, well, did that door lock? Did he lock us in? And I said, I don't think so. So I tried it, and it was like a steel door. You couldn't even budge it. You couldn't even rattle it. And it was not locked because you could tell that it had a thumb lock on the inside that would have had to be locked. So things just started getting weirder. So he comes barreling down off the steps like he's jumping and being weird, goes into the front room again, and his mother follows. And I'm thinking, I'm not following that crazy loon. I stayed there. All of a sudden, I heard this noise, this walking upstairs. And his mother heard it too. And his mother looked and she said, did the realtor come in? And I said, no. And she said, what is that walking up there? I said, I don't know. Maybe it's the furnace. I knew exactly what it was. I'm standing there looking up the steps. Now, I'm going to describe this to you. Remember, as you came in the front door, you would look up the steps, then there was a landing, and then the stairway like went back toward the second floor. I was looking up there, and all of a sudden I saw this little arm and this hand, that the fingers were like spiny gargoyle looking. This face looks down, and looks right at me. And that hand curled right around, just real slow, curled right around the banister. So I'm standing there and I'm just thinking to myself, what do I do? I've got a crazy guy that could turn around and unalive us at any moment. And a mother who is oblivious to the world, who's chasing after him, thinking that her baby boy is a nutbag, and he is. And if you're watching, you know you are. So I'm standing there, and I just said, by the power that is over me, you stay away from me in the name of Jesus Christ. And that thing went back like that. But it stayed on the staircase with his hand on the banister. I'm going to show you what it is. And don't forget, we got a drawing tonight, my darlings. Give me a second. I'm going to show you what this is, and you have to look closely. You have to look closely. Now look over there at the top of the stairs. You see this arm? Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you. Oops, I made it bigger for me. I don't want to do that. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. There. At the top of those stairs. Now, this is a real picture, by the way. This is a real photograph of how that looks out. So the door would be just like you're standing in front of that stair. This is an exact picture of how it looked from the listing and how it looked when we were there. Now, I brightened that little arm and hander, right? Hello. I brightened that a little bit so you could see exactly what it looks like. And that's what was there. You have to look at the ceiling, and it looks like it's by my let me take the grifting QR code off. See there at the top of the steps? To the left, about 3/4 of the way when you get up to the steps, to the left, you see there's an arm hanging down from the ceiling. That's kind of like what I saw. It's kind of like what I saw. So yeah. Now let me tell you a little bit. Time out. I need to go back in time. Yeah, it looks like a little X-ray left hand is what it looks like. I wanted to brighten it up and I couldn't brighten it. But let me tell you a little backstory. Yeah, the long fingers, but they were spiny, like with these long fingernails. Yeah. Now let's back up into the 1980s when the Lutz family was living there. And they said all of this stuff was happening around them. And Mr. Lutz was literally affected himself. When they left, they cut and run. I mean, seriously, they just literally cut and run. When they did that, they left all of the furniture there. Now, the furniture that they bought was the furniture. Now, that's not a real picture of the hand. I put that on there because we weren't allowed to take our phones in. Okay. So but that's resembling. So, just disclaimer, that's not the real hand, it is sort of kind of what I saw. The best way, because what I saw was up a little further and I couldn't get the angle of the stairway. So the hand is not real, but the room is. That's an original picture. So when this happened, when William Defoe Jr. unalived his sisters and brothers and his parents, you can imagine that that red stuff went everywhere. And I mean everywhere. It was all over. I was doing some research 2 years ago and got a hold of some crime scene pictures. And I'll tell you what, it was horrible. Horrible. He unalived them while they were in their beds sleeping. So there was a flow down over the beds, on the wall, in the carpet. Now, when the crime scene people went there, because obviously it was on the market, these people, the Lutz people bought it. They kept that furniture. They got rid of the mattresses. And quite frankly, to tell you the truth, it's been 51 years, and some of the original wallpaper is still up in the bedrooms. That is what the realtor told us. In that wallpaper is still some spatters from that crime scene that never changed. So you can imagine those Lutz people for $400, even though, now listen, things happen. And I've lived in houses before where people passed, but not violently. And I have to wonder, were the Lutz mom and dad, Kathy and George, were they just kind of like dumb? Can I say that? Were they just like dumb? Put their kids in the rooms, the same furniture that these kids had, only they changed the mattresses? So when these people left, the Lutz left, Kathy Lutz was cooking. And they just left everything. They left. She now obviously turned the stove off, but they left the food on the table. They left everything. They left it. Period. Then, of course, they started having these problems. And this man came in and wrote the book. Now, the man came in and wrote the book, and then William Defoe, yes, his name is Defoe Jr., thought he could get some type of an insanity defense because of this book and wanted to try to get out. And they turned that down. It pains me to think that 2 of those children would have been my age today. And I'll bring you into the future. So when they left, they just left. They basically had they basically had the clothes on their back. They grabbed a few things and they cut and run. But they had a few psychics that went. And they had Ed and Lorraine Warren go. And they sat around this table. And it was one of the most bizarre things that you could ever see. If you want to watch these. In fact, I found something today from In Search Of. Remember with Leonard Nimoy, In Search Of? There's an episode about the Amityville horror. So now come back to the most recent past. So I'm basically pounding on this door to get out of this house. Bottom line. And we're trying to yell at the sister that's outside in the, his mom is at the window going like this to the sister, trying to get her attention to come and get the door. So we're pounding on the door. This nutcase Shrek is rolling all around this house like he is a nutcase. And at first I thought he's just doing it to be a jerk and to show off in front of his mommy. And then I thought, oh, I don't think so. Because when he was in the front room and he turned around to talk to his mom, he looked over his mom and he looked at me. And it was one of those looks where he lowered his chin and his eyebrow raised. And it was an evil gaze and his face changed. And I thought, oh, here we go. Hello, here we go. Finally, the realtor comes up. We're pounding on the door. Realtor comes up, opens the door. And we said, what the heck? We couldn't get out. He goes, what do you mean? It's unlocked. He could not understand. So then, now I want you to know this. He was okay till we went there that day. He was okay. He was okay till we went there that day. So we go outside and the realtor said, well, you interested? And I said, well, we didn't really get to see the house because we were locked in. I said, it was so hot. He goes, what do you mean it was hot? I said, it was so hot. I said, look at us. We are drenched. And he said, the electric's not on. I said, why is it so hot in there? He said, I don't know. He said, so are you interested? And I said, not today. If I want to go down to the boathouse. He goes, you can't go in the boathouse. Okay. I said, then I'm not interested. He didn't say thank you, didn't say goodbye, didn't say go to the hot place. I didn't have to. I was in it. He runs to his car, gets in, and out he goes. So we go out and we're talking. We get in the car and we're talking about this, and Shrek is driving. The idea is that we are now to go to Montauk because I want to see the lighthouse. So there's a stretch of road that goes from Amityville to Montauk. And the realtor did, Dee. So there's a stretch of road that goes to time out. The boathouse is supposedly where Mr. Lutz had some experiences, and I wanted to go see it. I mean, right? So we go out, there's a stretch of road, and we're talking. All of a sudden, there's a truck coming on the left-hand side, and Shrek veers over and gets in that lane. And his mom is like, get over, what are you doing? His sister is screaming. And I'm like, Father, I hope I get to see my children again. Please protect me. I'm in the backseat praying. All of a sudden, he gets back on the road again. Then he does this, then he does that. He's driving sporadically all over. We run out of gas. We run out of gas. Who runs out of gas? He runs out of gas. We had to call AAA to come and bring us gas. We were out there at almost sunset. We finally get the gas. We finally go to Montauk. And he looks at me and goes, do you want to go up in the lighthouse? I said, well, I was thinking about it. Maybe your mom would like to go. And he said, no, I want you to go up at the top. I said, no, I'm not interested in going up. I have a height thing because holy mackerel. I'm thinking this dude's going to get me up in a lighthouse and push me. I mean, his face changed. His face just changed. Well, I'm in a different state. You know, you don't want to break because give me a ride to where, right? I mean, give me a ride to where. So I wasn't going to leave his mom. His sister was there. So we finally get back to her house and he's creepy. He's sitting in a chair all night looking at me. And I couldn't sleep because he was looking at me all night. And I thought, this guy is possessed. And so his mom was there, and I said, hey, isn't there one of these big, beautiful Catholic churches around here? And she goes, oh, yeah, there's this church, whatever. I said, can we go visit it today? My intention was to scoop up a little bit of holy water and give it a toss his way. I took a little bit of salt. No, she had some sage in the cabinet first. And I lit some of that sage and I brought it in the bedroom. And he goes, what is that? And I said, oh, it's this beautiful incense that your mom, he flipped out. And I thought, oh, heck. So I took it out of the room because sometimes sage does that. And you got to be very careful about what you use. So I get a little bit of salt. Bless the salt in the name of Christ, according to James chapter 5, doing all this stuff. I go back in the room and I'm sprinkling it on the bed, I'm sprinkling this salt everywhere. Not enough that, because who wants to walk around? She's got hardwood floors. So if, you know what I mean, I happened to throw a little bit on him and he had his back toward me and I threw a little bit back and he jerked like this and goes, what are you doing hitting me? I said, I didn't hit you. I'm standing right here. It was the salt that I put to him. Finally, it's time to go home. I drove. We stopped in Gettysburg. He was not the same. Had to stop in Philly. Got a Philly cheese. Had to do that. No peach pie on this trip. I drove that entire trip home. It's like 14 hours. I wasn't about to stop. I had the pedal to the metal, baby. I was going. We get home. Now comes part 2. We get home. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was just the intent. You're trying to, I'm the number one debunker. And I'm thinking, okay, now I've got to be just like, okay, maybe I'm just, Now he worked at the post office. He's retired now, I think. I don't know. And he was a little bit of younger than me, just a little bit, not much. He comes home one day with a paper bag, puts the paper bag into his dresser drawer. looks at me and says, "Don't open that." What do I care what's in your bloody drawers? Well, the first thing I'm thinking of is wait till his crack gets out of here. I'm opening up that door. Well, I did. And it was a handheld pew pew. I don't know where he got it from. Don't know what he did, but I felt I was a target. So things kept getting worse. My son happened to live in Georgia, southern Georgia at the time. And we talked a lot, whatever. And I was telling him what was going on. He goes, "Mom, you just got to be careful." Because here's the thing. When you're in a position like this, how do you just pick up, I don't have any family, like mother, brother, any of this? I don't. It's my son and I. So where do you go? You got to have the extra money to cut and run, and you got to maintain, right? I wasn't working on a psychic line then. I was just working for myself. So I was thinking something was up. So the stress from him coming home, and the moment that he would hit that door, my darlings, he would stop when he got off work and would drink the entire time. And I would call the police and I would say, "He gets off at this time. He stops at this convenience store. You got to stop him. He's going to unalive me." "Well, ma'am, we can't do any." I said, "I know you can't do anything until I'm unalived. And then sadly, you won't do anything then. That's the way it goes." So they wouldn't pick him up. He would hit that door and it would be crazy fight. One time I made the mistake of mixing the spaghetti sauce with the spaghetti. And I thought the earth was going to be moved. His face kept changing. He would walk in the house and it was like he would sit and he would say, I wonder what Sammy would look like if she was torn in half. Things like this. And I knew that he wasn't going to do it, but he was doing it to yank my chain and get me all going. Because he kept saying to me, "I wonder what it would be like to see you in jail." And finally I told him, I said, "Heck fire, I wish you would send me there because I would be probably a lot safer." So finally, it got so intense that I would mix blessed olive oil with salt, and I would put a little bit on the outside door before he would come in. Now, he's possessed. He is. And I'm going to tell you at this point, it wouldn't have mattered what crystal or whatever it is that I had, because it wouldn't have. It was charging through just about anything and everything that I was putting out there at him. And I'm pretty good at that. I had my iron on me, so he would come near me and then he would stop. But he was loud and he was drunk and he was putting fists through walls. It was his house. I didn't care. I knew when the time was right, I was going to go, and I was making those arrangements. One night it was so stressful. I had this horrible headache and I said, "I got to go to bed. I just do what you want to do. I don't care." I am to that point. I do not care. Do what you want to do. During the middle of the night, I literally felt like a 2x4 hit me in the head. And I couldn't get up. It was so horrible. I tried to speak because my mind was functioning okay. My body was not. I laid there awake for a very long time. Finally, the sun started coming up and I didn't get up. And he came around to the end of the bed And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, look at you. Well, you look like you've had a stroke. So, you know what? I don't have time to take you to the hospital. I don't have time. You better call somebody because I'm going to work." So he left and left me there. And as the day that went on, I was able to just, you're healing, you're healing, you're healing. You can get up, you're healing, you're healing. And my son had been calling me and couldn't get through. And he was worried because he knew how he was. Finally, I was able to fall out of the bed and I could see that my son was calling. And I was able to get the phone over to me on the floor. And when my son called, I was able to tap the button and he's like, "Mom, oh my God, are you okay?" And I couldn't talk. I was like, and he's like, "I'm on my way." Now, this was like a 5-hour ride. He goes, "You hang in there with me, Mom." There's nothing like a son. I knew that the stress from all of that, plus fighting that evil on a day-to-day basis, because this was not him. And I knew that he caught that at this house. So he's got me on the phone. "Mom, you hang in there." I hear him. He was a manager at Walmart. I hear him say, "Here's my smock." Oops, hello, there's my hair. "Here's my smock. My mom's in trouble. I'm out. Were you coming back? Forget it. I'm done." Whatever. He's telling his friends, "Call this one, call that one. I've got to go. I'm going by my house just for 5 minutes." And and I'm like, 5 minutes, hello. I hear him get in his truck. It was a 5-hour trip on a good day, and he made it in 3. He was like, I hope, Mom. And he's talking to me this whole time. He says, "I hope, Mom, that the cops stop me." You go. He gets up there. By this time, I'm able to rally a little bit. He comes in, swings this door open, looks at me, picks me up, and I told him, he's like, "Mom, we got to call the ambulance." I told him, I said, "Don't call the ambulance. The hospital was just like right down. I could have driven there if I could have." I said, the ambulance costs too money. So he gets me in the truck. We go in the hospital. They told me that I had some whisper strokes and that it had been happening for a little while. So that's when sometimes if you hear me stutter a little bit, that's the leftover. I was in intensive care in the hospital for 1 week. And they took all kinds of tests and they told me that I had missed the window, because there's a certain particular window that when you have these things that they can really heal you. I missed the window, and that I was just going to have to go through therapy and everything else. Well, I'm stubborn. So the therapy that I've got a very good holistic doctor. The therapy that I got on YouTube. I would sit there and I would work through my, all this. In the meantime, I've got Shrek texting my phone, "Your cats will be unalived when you get back. I hope that you have money when you come back. Because I had money. I just wasn't giving him any. Because I was saving it. Because I knew. Because Ian and I had plans that we were saving up and then we were going to hightail it. So, I started getting better, but I talked like Elmer Fudd. For a while, I was talking like Elmer Fudd for a while, and I have a condition that is called neglect. So sometimes if I'm really tired, it only happens like when I'm walking around or something like that. If I'm really tired, if I'm walking room for room, I see a doll, I see the doorway there, or I see a wall there, and I just can't get my body to go where it needs to be. Those waskaway wabbits. So sometimes I'll just kind of get over there and hit the wall a little bit, and then I get realigned and I'm back on my little merry way. Thank God I'm not on any medication. I'm not anything. So he decides, yes, I'm talking about Shrek. So my son decides to stay. And that's when that whole thing happened, because I was getting better and better through my doctor appointments and all this. And I knew it was from this house. And finally I tried to call his mom, and his mom wouldn't speak to me. So I knew that Shrek had called his mom. You know how that is? And so, whatever. Okay. So it was in December when all that happened. So we made it through. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't in December. So we made it through, and it was September. It was Labor Day weekend. My son was there. He had a girl that he was dating come and visit. She was in the Navy previously. So I was sitting on the sofa and I'm working. Because remember, I'm in the finance business then. All of a sudden, he says, "You got any money?" I said, "It's Liberty weekend. How am I supposed to get any money? The banks aren't open. Sorry about your luck." Said, "Okay, I'll show you." He gets up, goes to the corner, gets a 12-pack, and he is downed 4.5 miles of cheap beer. Comes back almost soused. He looks at me and he said, "I'm going to drink today until either you or me are unalived." I said, "What is this with you? In the name of Jesus, what is this with you?" And I knew the moment that I said Jesus, he went off. And he's a Christian, but he went off. He flipped out. He was calling me every name in the book and, whatever. And so I would just go in another room. He'd follow me. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Follow me. Finally, he gets upset and goes smacking into my son's room. And my son was in bed. They were in bed yet. It was early. My son says, Get the heck out of here." So my son gets dressed. My son goes out and he said, "Listen, I'm tired of you talking to my mother." Now, my son is like 6 foot something. He's like, Hercules, He comes out there. He said, "I'm tired of you talking to my mother that way, you demon." So it starts. Shrek comes over and hits my son. And Ian looks at me. I said, "Don't you touch him. You know what he wants. Don't you touch him. I call the cops." Sit down, demon. That's right. Sit down, demon. I call the police. The police come over. By this time, Shrek goes in his bedroom and I hear the bag rattling. And I told the kids, I said, you need to get up and get out of this house right now. We are in danger. They went this way. I said, we need to split. They went this way. I went this way, ran to the neighbor man who was a Vietnam vet who didn't give a crap and who had the biggest crush on me. And Mark, if you're hearing that up in the air, thank you, because he passed away. Not then. Had the biggest crush on me. And I went over there. I said, you got to help me. He goes in and gets his pew pew. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. Here, showdown at the Sundown Corral here. Whatever. He comes outside and he's screaming and waving this thing. The police pull right up. And he's looking at me and he goes, you need to arrest her. You need to arrest her. They took me to the side and I said, you want to hear something weird? I'm going to tell you. And the one guy looks at me and goes, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yes. And he goes, is your name Zelda? Here we go. I said, yes, sir, it is. And he said, my wife watches you. And I said, thank you, but we're here for a different reason right now. And this guy is going to unalive me. And I use the M word. He is going to unalive me, my son, his girlfriend, or all of us. It is going to be just like the Amityville horror, because this started when he and I went. And we went there. And the cop looked at me and goes, you were at the Amityville house? And I said, yes, sir. He said, can I ask you why you were there? And I said, well, it was because it was for sale. And we went up and we were to look at this house because you just never know. And then he looks at me and he goes, did you get this? And I said, if you want to call me, we'll talk about this another time. What are you going to do about this guy? Because this is it. He said, I'm handling him. And he looked around here and he looked at him and he said, if you don't shut up, because he was screaming. I was so embarrassed. He said, if you don't shut up, he said that. If you don't shut up, and I don't talk like that, but the cop did. He said, I'm going to haul you in. He said, I said, okay. Let's see what happens. He just kept coming up. You need to. They went right up on him, put the handcuffs on him, and I'm taking pictures. Now, funny thing of it is, his son is a sheriff's deputy in the next county. So the first thing that he's doing is threatening this county with his son. I'm like, oh yeah, that little fella that takes care of the school crossing. Look out, boys. The funny thing, this all happened after the Amityville visit. Still more to come. Still more to come. So he is arrested. The next day, he had his son turn our utilities off. And it was brutal. The heat was horrible. I had friends, my boss, all these people gathered around us and they knew what was going on. And we got utilities on. And I went down to the police department and I said, look, how long can you keep this game player? And they said, how long do you want us to keep him? And I said, oh, I don't know, 30 days. Okay. So they kept him. He bailed out and the judge made him go to his son's. So he had to be there at the son's. And it was maybe 60 days. Pardon me. The most blissful 60 days that we had had. My money had come in that I had been expecting. We ate like kings. We slept like queens. And for the first time in a couple of years, I felt safe. But there's more to come. So we decided my son was going to go to university, and we decided we wanted to buzz off. And we buzzed off. I moved out, took the cats, took everybody with me. That was the last time I saw him. I still have the pictures of him going away in handcuffs, but hey, that's okay. Maybe I'll auction him off one day. The next thing you know, he gets married 3 months later. I won't tell you what she looks like. Maybe she's a nice girl. Could be. So, I'm not going to judge that little book by the cover. Pardon me. So, it was about 60 days from the time that it was about 4 months. It was about 4 months from the time that we saw the house, I think, until we were able to leave. So I have no idea when we moved out. He contacted me on Facebook. Are you happy? I won't share what I said to him. So that was it. I've never heard, and I don't care. She blocked me because he couldn't stop talking about me. Weird. So now he's the one who gave the cats the possessed toy. Yes. He's the one that when they were watching TV, that I turned around and stopped the television. Just a second. Sammy is angry because she can't get through. Did you hear her huffing? So now, we've been here for a little while. Sean Austin, paranormal investigator. You know Sean from Netflix, 28 Days Haunted. He's on the internet. He does all kinds of things. Yeah, the sock monkey toy. That's right. So he contacts me and he said, I heard Sammy Huffington. That is correct. The Stomper, Sammy the Stomper. She huffs and stomps. Listen, I had to make a deal with her so she would be my new producer on this show because she just wouldn't have it any other way, but that's okay. So, yeah, 28 Days Haunted. It's Sean Austin, who's a buddy of mine. He contacts me. He said, Zelda, I didn't know that you were in Amityville. And I said, yeah, I was. So we're getting to talk. And he goes, I think that's for sale again. I said, well, my crack isn't going up there. So let me give you another little backstory. Right after we left, there was a woman and man, and I'm not going to say who they are because I don't want them doxxed and I don't want any problems. They decided that they wanted the house. They saw it through a realtor. They fired the realtor. They went directly to the owners who had had it before because there were 4 families that had moved in from the time the Lutz family had it until, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, something like that. Evidently, they got rid of all the stuff, all the wallpaper, everything. Are you okay, sis? All the wallpaper, everything like that. So, okay, God bless them. So now they went around the realtor and went directly to the owners of the house and paid them directly so they didn't have to pay a realtor. Now, to me, you don't do, that's nasty. I'm sorry. Realtors are commission only. I'm commission only. I know how that is. You work hard for something like this, and then you have somebody to go around you and want to cheat you. Just a minute here. I've got my earpiece and I got to take this out. Yes, it is still, the house is still there. Yes, it is. Because they changed the house number. So it is still in Amityville. So evidently, this realtor found this out and got angry and said, oh, heck no, and sued the client and sued the owner. Good. And won. So they had to pay the commission. Oh, yeah, this is a story, I'm telling you. So they had to pay the commission. And that was right after we left. And it wasn't that little fellow that showed us either. So this lady, pardon me, this lady who bought it, I guess is a real stinker. She's a twaka, but she's a stinker. She's a stinker. Give me a second, my darlings. She's a stinker. So these people who've had this house, now let me say this. The people that bought it after the Lutz, her husband died unexpectedly. Didn't know what to do. They sold the house, but gave it to another person. That person came down with a bad disease, starts with a C. So they sold the house. So this house, pardon me, this house has got nothing but bad news around it. Nothing. So now back to the present, 2 years ago, I think, might have been 3. So Sean calls me. I don't think he passed away in the house. No. So Sean calls me and he goes, what do you think? Do you think we could get this? And I said, I think we can get this house, but I want a lawyer. I want to be represented by a lawyer. I'm not going to, I don't mess with people. I don't, do that. So, yes, Sammy, I have lip gloss on, Sam. If I kiss you, that's going to be treacherous. All right. So anyway, I said, Sean, what are we going to do with this house if we get it? Because, brother, I'm not living there. And at that time, he was living in Connecticut. Now, I started doing research. I talked to the neighbors, asked what was going on. The neighbors told me that this house, the Amityville house, it was just weird. And that the people had family over and that the young man saw something in the stairwell and refuses to go back. I said, did he describe what it looked like? And he said, yes. Said he couldn't stop screaming for 3 days. They thought they were going to have to take him to a hospital. Said it looked like a gremlin. And that is exactly what it looked. Like the gremlins, like Gizmo, those gremlins. No, Melanie has not been to this house. I wouldn't take anyone there. So first of all, I can't even get into it. But if I could, I couldn't do that. It was that little hand gremlin guy that boy saw. He was about 14 or 15 at the time. Yeah, don't give him water after midnight. Hello. So I said, Sean, what do you think you're going to do with this? And he said, I think what we need to do is get it and we put cameras in it. And if there's some paranormal groups go in, we just have them sign waivers. Well, the neighbors, absolutely not. We're not going to allow this to happen. The mayor would not allow it to happen. Now, the people that are in there currently, the one that tried to gyp the realtor out of their realtor fee, which I think is bad, but you know, they had to pay it anyway in the long run. See, don't fool around, try to do that stuff. So now she's trying to turn it into a bed and breakfast. She was fixing it up. She was doing all these things. And the neighbors went to her and said, "You're not going to do that. Do you see all the people that go around here, that drive here? No, absolutely not. You're not going to do that." So that was it. Oh, Ian, my hero, is in the chat, everybody. Thank you, Ian. Hello. So, evidently she got a wild hair, and people who started coming around, she would have arrested. It wasn't zoned for a B&B, but she thought she was a big shot and she was going to do it anyway. Well, they wouldn't have it. So this owner, current, had a lawyer friend who contacted me, was talking about how much would I pay. And I said, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. Why don't you do me a favor and contact my lawyer in Nashville? You have your people, call my people. Maybe we'll do lunch someday. I'm not negotiating. I don't trust you people. I know what you've done. And that's it. Oh, okay. So they're talking to my lawyer. He's telling them about the house. FEMA now has the house in a big flood zone. And the flood insurance on this house alone is over $1,200 a month. And it's going to be raising. And that's on top of their mortgage. So now this guy wants a commission because he's talking to my attorney. And my attorney's like, "Please tell me, Zelda, that you're not going to buy this house." I said, "You know what? If I can, I will. But I've got to make some money off of it. I'm certainly not going to be doing something, I've got a hello." I said, "I want to get downstairs and I want to see the red room." Now, I'm starting to do all this research on the house. Evidently, one of the people who was involved, one of the magistrates who was involved with the Salem witch trials, owned all the property around there and all this property. What does that tell you? There's an energy around that to begin with, and there is supposed to be a red room in the basement. Red room. Go ask Alice, you're adorable. Thank you. Because you know what? Listen, I've seen it all. And if I can make it through, you all can make it through. Right? Hello. I know, kiss the mama's baby. So, anyway. So there's a history that goes with this home, and it's not a good history. Oh, give me 5, sister. Look at this, 5. Give me 5. All right. So there's a history, pardon me, that goes with this home. And there's a demonic history that goes with this home. And that's what Shrek trickled home with him. Bless him on his merry way. And his wife, too. Long as they're leaving me alone, I don't give a wild flip. So, Sean and I are talking. Paranormal Sean Austin. Go find. He's on Gosh, he's on all the platforms, but he's had shows everywhere. I mean, he's been on TLC, Discovery, all kinds of things. So we were really going to think about doing this with the house. So we got interested, and they decided they wanted to play a little game and raise the price of the house to $1.2 million. I said, no, wait a minute. In 2016, they paid $650 because they went around the realtor. They didn't pay the $850. They went around the realtor. So I said, I know what they've paid for the house. So anyway, it just got to the point where I said, look, I'm just not interested. I'm not close enough to be doing anything with it anyway to begin with, so forget it. So Sean called me about 3 weeks ago. Said, hey, how are you doing? Happy Halloween. And I said, oh yeah, our anniversary is coming up. The anniversary of the Amityville unalivings, November 14th. I told him it had to be 3 years ago because I wanted to get it. Oh, I'm sorry, Sissy. I wanted to get it so we could celebrate the 50th year, but not a celebration. You know what I mean? Because it would have been the 50th year. Now you can't tear this house down because it's not zoned for that. And so that's the thing. Pardon me. That's what was going on. But when Sean called me 3 weeks ago, he said, do you think you might want to buy that house? I said, oh gosh, Sean, don't take me through that trail again. I'm not even sure I can. I mean, that's a 10-year hitch for me. I don't think I could do that. And I said, how much do they want for it? He goes, they want $10 million for that house now, and asked if I would call and ask you. I said, they're completely out of their mind if they think any fool is going to buy that house for $10 million based upon, if I had $10 million, I would certainly not buy the Amityville horror house to begin with. So now Sean said, I'll keep you posted. I said, listen, you think the Conjuring house is bad? You think any of those houses? I told Sean, I said, even if we got that house, Sean is a demonologist. I said, even if we got that house, there is no bloody way that I would have let him in there by him. That is a house you do not want to go into by yourself. Now, here's the thing, my darlings. They wouldn't take $1 million. They wouldn't take $1 million. When I offered, they wanted $1.25 million. I said, I'll give you $950. And they, no. Here's the Canton salute. Take it, be well. So I told Sean, I said, listen, if we're going to buy a haunted house and do something with it, let's do something that's not demonistic and crazy and connected to the Salem witch trials. This is seriously, I mean, this is serious. And for the fact that Shrek was affected like he was, I don't know. I don't have anything to do with him now. I mean, I don't even know where he is. And I wouldn't if I did. But the reality is, my darlings, wow. Just wow. Oh, thank you, Jerry. See, Jerry's more worried about me being a grifting psychic than I am. But thank you so much, Jerry. See, she's got my back. She's got my back. So there we go. But I think there is a portal in the basement of this home. Based on the land and the research that I've done on the land around this home, I'm surprised. Seriously, I am surprised that I survived that. And it has nothing to do with me and all this other, But the reason I'm all telling you this is, you see, I am an experienced chick. And I still got messed up because somebody was fooling around, and they know it's the water table is too high to have tunnels there. It's too I wouldn't even move the house. There's so much there. Seriously, there's so much. Now, just because you change the wallpaper doesn't mean that those stains are going to go away. You can paint over them, and it doesn't mean that the stains are going to go away. They're still there. They're in the house. For those of you who don't know, or who didn't know the Amityville story, when William Defoe, I'm going to call it that way. I don't want to call that energy. When William Defoe Jr. did this, he got up in the middle of the night, unalived his parents first. Now, here's the weird thing, my darlings. He said, and this is one of the reasons why this fascination that I have with paranormal psychology, that, gee, the devil made me do it. That's what happened to him. He was hearing voices. There were a lot of things, but the one daughter was in the basement and took her neighborhood friend into the red room. And the neighborhood friend said she would not even go back. She would not even go back. But here's the creepy, weird part. I'm going to tell you. Every one of them that he unalived were on their stomachs. They were on their stomachs. And they were pewed in the back. In their backs. Every one. Now, I've got to tell you something. That thing that he used, I believe it was a rifle. Don't know what it was. Could be whatever kind it was loud. The neighbors did not hear anything. The neighbors didn't hear anything. And they said that the family dog barked one time. Now, hold on. Hold the phone here, my darlings. If you saw how close these houses were, you listen, I hear the neighbors have a body function, right? When you're close to you hear stuff. You're not going to tell me. And they said no dogs were barking in the neighborhood, nothing. They actually wanted to see if he used one of those, what are those called? You know what I mean? You put it on the end. It's like a little thing that silencer. Hello. No, he didn't use a silencer. He brought that out when the police got there. He brought that out. Didn't have it. Didn't have a silencer on it. Didn't have anything. Now, I have another question. There was time while he was walking around the house. My question has always been, did he give something to his family to make them sleep so hard that they did not wake up? Because if you're hearing that kind of noise, I mean, my son and I are up all night. No, sissy, what are you doing? Pardon me. My son and I are up all night long, going back and forth. Did I hear you scream? My son will come in my room. He will, Ian, if you are in the chat, you can say, yes, mama, I do. He does. He'll come in and check on me. Mom, I heard a scream. Did you just scream? No, some other turkey around here somewhere. Mom, did you hear? I thought I heard the door slam. So he and I are up all night long when we hear a noise. Now, my friends, when you get one of these things that shoots, yeah, see? He says, yeah, I hear screams and bangs all the time. And he comes out and checks. He does. Hold on. I want to see. I now I'm talking about it. My arm fell asleep from her sitting on it. My darlings, it was a 35 caliber lever action Marlin. Now those things are allowed, and it was 3 a.m. in the morning. And guess what? He kept saying that he was waking up at 3:15, 3:15, 3:15. Now what the connection is I have with this house, I don't know, but that's my birthday. And they announced the New York Times, or just one time could be, the New York's Times announced the death of him March 15th. He actually expired on the 12th. And they kept saying that he would wake up at 3:15. And I'm going to tell you what, there's not a time that if I don't wake up at 3:15 in the morning, I think. Because 3:15 is supposed to be that time when things happen. There's something in that house. There's something. There's many things. There's many things. But using a Marlin, look it up. I'm not going to go through there with this, but maybe I did change. Not while we've been talking. I have the same glasses on, my darling. Yeah, it's the witching hour. But I always wake up I'm awake at 3 a.m. I think Ian is too. We haunt our own house. We're our own house haunters. You know, you see that show on HGTV. It's called House Hunters. Well, we have a show called House Haunters. That's what we have. There we go. There we are, my darlings. But you know, I'm always awake. You know, what size shoe did Jesus wear? You know. But here's a point that I want to make to you, my darlings, and those who are familiar with the John O'Keefe case. If this house, after 51 years, after painting, changing wallpaper, changing carpets, changing without bloody tearing the bloody house down, and even then, I am not convinced that anything like that is not in 34 Fairview Road. And maybe they have gone in and found it. We may not know right now. But it's the same thing. It's one of these things, my darling, that you just have to think. Yeah, Ian does. Yeah. Mom can tell you, Ian has some pretty heavy duty intuitive gifts. Past empathic. And he struggles. I'm going to tell it with this right here. With everybody, and I say that because I'm looking at the chat. You're on this side. Ian struggles, my darlings, because he is so empathic that he can pick up things that I'm thinking things that other people are thinking and they don't even know they're thinking it. Not yet. There are times that I'm working when he'll come in and goes, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" "Nothing. I'm just working." "No, something is wrong." So he's got a big intuition, and that bothers. "No, sister, you may not. No, you're too itchy." Scooby's got the itchies. So, so that's my point. And things are heating up now at 34 Fairview. And yeah, I mean the house. It's vibrating pretty big. And what does that mean? The energy is getting ripe. "34 Fairview," when something starts coming to the forefront and to the, you sit here and you, this poor girl, she's got eczema so bad. I should have called her Digger instead of Scooby. So something's getting ready to happen in Canton. Hello, sister. Something's getting ready to happen. Because I've always said that ever since I got involved with the Karen Reed case and Justice for John. And I've known about this and I've done research here. Let me ask you this. Do you not think that Michael Proctor is related to the Proctors from the Salem witch trial? He's married to Elizabeth Proctor. And yes, that was not her married name, but there's a lot of connections. Yes, Sissy, thank you. There's a lot of connections there. His energy, his spirit is gone. You don't have to worry about it. He's resting, but his energy is not going to go. He is going to remain. That energy will keep looping. It will keep looping. Now, I've done a little bit of history on Proctor the proctologist and Salem, and there is a connection. Now, does that mean anything? No, because I don't believe in generational curses to a certain degree. But there's something there. There's something there. And I cannot wait until our sweetheart, Attorney Nan, and I ask to go to 34 Fairview, because we will. You'll know about it when the time comes. You'll know about it. I want to get moved first. I want to get moved. December 12th. Gosh, that was my mother's birthday. He's a Sagittarius then. Yeah, I've done everything that I can for her. The only thing that really works for her is coconut water. So, and that helps. And being near mama, aren't her? She's blind in one eye. She's, we're not going to start anything in here about Nan. I don't fall into that. And we won't do that here. This is not the place for any of that. Please. Everyone is allowed to their opinions. The opinion of myself is that she is very good to this channel. She's very good to me, and she's very good to each and every one of these people in here. We will not go there about Attorney Nan. So hello, my darlings. Yes. Kitties are the best. Okay, so anyway, back to, yes, we love Nan. So back. Yeah, ciao. Ciao. If you don't like it, you can go. It won't hurt my feelings. Who I choose to be affiliated with is nobody's business. And if you want to tick me off, do it. I dare you. Now, let's get back to my show, please. So anyway, that's why I believe that something is getting ready to happen with because of the vibes. We're getting ready to be into this we're getting ready to be in this wonderful Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde brings out the best and the worst in people. Thank you, Karen. The best and the worst in people. Mercury retrograde is right around the corner. It's the 9th. It's Sunday. Thank you, K9. I'm sorry, guys. I just will not put up with that kind of crap. I'm not going to fall into that. This infighting, stop. It's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard and encountered. And so what? Don't get me started. So anyway, Mercury retrograde, we've been in a shadow period since October 25th. Thank you, my darlings. We've been here since, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't want any that stuff in my channel. I won't have it. They can be gone. Mercury retrograde, we've been in the shadow since October 25th. That's probably why you're seeing a lot of upset and infighting and drama. So, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, please do me a favor. Give me a like and all that. Now, I'm going to tell you a little something about here. Finding out who did this to your Sagittarian brother, Officer O'Keefe. That's right. Let's not lose sight of the prize. Let's not lose sight of the prize. You know what? If you know what we live, and I know you're asking, should I sign a contractor? Just read the fine print. And if you've been involved with whatever it is that you want to sign a contract for, then read the fine contract, or read the fine print rather. So I just think that's the best thing. I just think that's the best thing. It's funny if Proctor is a Sagittarius, because Sagittarians gravitate to being in law enforcement. I don't know if you knew that or not. They sure do. They gravitate to law enforcement. I love it. Thank you, guys. Sorry, I got a little bombastic. Care? You don't like my channel? Buzz off. So anyway, now I want to tell you a few little things. Let's see. Oh, we got a little time. My son's in the chat. Now, if you want to take a break, we do have your birthday's next week, Ruby. You make sure you're in here because we'll sing happy birthday. And you know what? Cat Randall's in here. My voice is cleared up. Let's sing happy birthday to Cat. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cat. Happy birthday to you and many more. You guys are going to have to let me know when your birthdays are, okay? Wow. Okay, so now that Ian's in here, let me tell you about when we first moved in here. We came right from Shrek's palace to this place. And it was wonderful. But let me do this. Let me do this. Let me show you, because we will have a drawing. Here we go. This is the last one. The last one. You can binge wop. You can binge wop paranormal mysteries. You can binge wop a lot of things. Why am I saying that? Binge watch a lot. And you're going to love this channel. I love the people affiliated with it. It is really good and true paranormal content. That is the last of the prizes that we will be giving away of this. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about something else. So hang in there, my darlings. Hang in there. Now, hold on. I got to be doing a little bit of this stuff. Got to be doing a little bit of this. We're Debbie, member for 4 months. Bless you. I'm so glad you're here. KS Granny 4. I don't know if that's Kansas Granny, but whatever it is, Granny, I love that you're here. Member for 3 months. Bless you. We have a new member. Adriana, bless you for being here. So glad that you are. Thank you. Thank you. And my darling Kat has gifted 1 Lady Zelda Kelly membership. Bless you. Beautiful. Look at this beauty. Gifted 5 Lady Zelda Kelly memberships. Bless you. And she gifted 5 more. Thank you. Thank you. Brooks, bless you. Oh my goodness. Sis, you're making my nose itch. Gifted 20 Lady Zelda memberships. You guys are so good to me. Thank you. Janice, bless you for your generosity. Thank you. Thank you. Bless you. Bless you. You are so awesome. Thanks for being here. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit. Thank you. And sorry about my outburst. Okay. So anyway, where else is Zelda streaming? I am on True Orica or oh, why don't we sing a song since I can't talk? I'm a talker. Let me share a few things with you, my darlings. Now, just so you know, I am back on Patreon, and so is True Oracle. Now, we're each side going to have different content because we can't collaborate together on Patreon. But let me tell you thank you, my darlings. Let me tell you about what is happening here. Hello. Patreon. On Patreon, I can say the real words. I don't have to say unalivinged. I don't have to say, oh, she was, but officer, she fell. Over there on Patreon, I will be talking about situations and circumstances that maybe you have never. Yes, Pew Pew is one of them. Situations where you may not have heard before, as in the pentagram in Washington, D.C., and what lies beneath it. I will be also talking about not political, but circumstances and situations, and sometimes why things are the way they are in this country and all about the world, all around the world. Now, on True Oracle, I'm going to be talking about things as in Charlie Kirk and the real truth that may be coming out. I'm going to be talking about possibilities over there of different situations and circumstances and True Oracle. So, yeah. So no baby talk. No baby talk like we do here. It's going to be Zelda Unbridled on both. Now, I can go live over there. Now, I have to figure that out because it's not like a StreamYard yet live. And, do you want to hear about reptiles and maybe what family they're affiliated with? Okay. So I will have to, there are free memberships in Patreon, and there are Zelda Uncut. That's right. Zelda Unbridled. And there are Zelda Unleashed, Zelda Gone Wild. But then there are paid memberships. So there's paid. And I'm going to tell you this, I know, but the paid, sorry, I keep hitting that. The paid memberships keep the trolls out. They keep the trolls down. They keep the trolls out. Patreon is a platform, as long as you don't talk about things that are intimacy. I can't say it on here, but as long as you don't, you're not one of those 900 channels, right? Then pretty much anything and everything goes a little better. That's where our darling Microdots is on. I am a supporter of his channel. That's why you see my name at the end of his little creations. So there we go. So you're more than welcome to come there. I will be putting some free content up because I do want you to see some of the things, but then for, some of the heavy duty stuff, it will be paid memberships. Sorry, but you can gift memberships over there. I can run discounts. I can do all kinds of things. Right? Listen, Richie, he's my man. If he can't do it, nobody can. Right? That's just how I feel about it. That's the way it is. Yes, he came out with that new video about Proctor today. Look out. So I will be putting up links as soon as I get everything in place. Okay. And because, I want to tread lightly a little bit. Not everybody is into the mysteries and things that make you question. That's what it's all about. Richie is wonderful. I read cards for Richie. I'm not going to share what was said in it, but I don't know if he was a believer or not, but I read cards for him. And quite frankly, I didn't even know who he was when I read cards from him. And then I found out. It's like, oh my heck. Now the other things, my darling, don't know if I said anything or not. I think I did at the beginning of this stream. Our beautiful mods are putting, and look at Nightbot. Look at Nightbot because Captain Jerry's putting it up. The Zeldon Codex case study system, the numerology, is now available. Follow the link. There's a link in the description. There's one in the chat. You can go on over there and you can go on over there and order your case study. There's 3 tiers. It's affordable. The higher the tier, the more in-depth you'll get. And I can tell you, it is very interesting. I even did my own, and I'm thinking, what the heck, right? I didn't even know this about me. So thank you, Carrie. Thank you, all of them. You guys are wonderful. So open and wide spaces, yes. So watch for the Patreon links. I will put them in the community tabs. Then we can talk. Then Zelda can be a talker. Yes. I love him. I love him. When I first came into this community, you don't need the time of birth. It's not like astrology, it's numerology. So it is based on your birthday, where you were born, your name. The more information that you can give about me, or me, oh no, give about you to me. So like, say for instance, as you get married. When I got married, I did not use my middle name when I got married. I used my maiden name when I got married. So if you want to give me a maiden name, if you want to give me your married name, if you want to give me an adopted name, you can do whatever whatever. If you don't want to give me your total birthday, you don't have to do that. It's all up to you. I'm leaving it all up to you. All right. So I want to tell you, yes, my angel, don't, no kissing, please. I want to tell you a little bit about the place that we are in. And it is scary. It was. I got rid of it. When we first moved in here, there must have been somebody upstairs, because there's townhomes upstairs. We have just a one floor unit where like the bedrooms are on one side, and then the living room, dining room, and kitchen all run on the opposite, on this side. So when we moved in, it wasn't long until we heard the screaming. And it wasn't like, ah, ha, 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 screaming. It was, oh my heck, I'm getting ripped apart type screaming. And it got so intense. And that's why, Ian has always gotten up and checked on me. I've checked on him, blah, blah, blah. We've changed bedrooms, whatever. And he would come out and he would say, Mom, I can't stand this screaming. I said, I know. So I told the landlord, our landlord, because it was an Airbnb and it was so pricey. So I told him, I said, look, I'll sign a lease. We're going to be here for a little while. I really don't want to move. Will you just keep us? And he's like, well, yeah, that's fine. That's no worries. Blessed on that account. There was one night that the screaming was so bad that Ian said, I'm going upstairs. I said, you cannot. What if there's somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer or somebody up there? You cannot go upstairs. We need to call the police. We called the police and they just didn't come. So the next night, I told the landlord. He called me. Honey, I think it's like $5 or something like that a month. I think it's Patreon. And then I run specials where, you get a certain percentage off, or you can get, whatever. So I told the landlord, and he calls me the next day. And he said, are you sure you heard screaming up there? Because, see, we're in an end unit. So it's not, it's everything that way, not here. On an outside wall. He said, there's nobody up there. I said, how could there be nobody up there? He said, there's nobody up there. I said, okay. So I told my son, I said, listen, you stand at the door. Because yes, I'm his mother, but I still have to stand in front of him, right? You just do that. So I told him, I said, stand at the door and I'll give you the high sign if I need anything. So I go up there. I lean over the railing. I'm looking in the windows because the blinds are up. Empty, vacant, no, nothing, nobody there. Okay, so this went on and on and on. Finally, I had to do some cleansing to get uh, if you guys can hold on a second, I'll get you the Patreon in just a minute. I'll get it for you. So, in fact, I'll just do it now while I'm talking to you. While I'm talking to you. So I went on over, my darlings, to this. I forget what it is. I guess it's The Office. I guess something like that. I went over to The Office because I don't mess with that because I still have a landlord, whatever. So I just don't mess with it. So I go to the office and I said, look, we just can't. You've got to do something there. The man who owns this owned the one up there. The man who owned the one up there came over. He knocked on my door and he said, look, I don't know what's going on, but you're not the only person who has said that there's been screaming going on up there. Okay. And give me a second, my darling. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, and let me do this. I'm going to give you this link. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I'm also going to put it in. Now, this is for mine. It's not for True Oracle. I'm going to give it to you here, and then True Oracle is not ready yet. And you can gift memberships over there, and I can gift memberships to all of you, and blah, blah. So there you go. That is my Patreon link. And there are different tiers that you can get, okay? So $5 is the smallest tier. So he says, you're not the only one that has talked about this screaming. And I said, it is to the point it's blood curling. Curling. Oh, I recorded it. I'm not going to play it for you on here because it's freaky. And you might not be able to hear it anyway. But I recorded it and I called him and he came back over and he said, oh my God. That came from upstairs? I said, yes, sir. It came from upstairs. So then this guy moves in, and I want you to know they've never been able to keep a tenant in that unit. Never. Our lights, and especially in the bathrooms, would flicker. I had my landlord check them out. They were flickering. We changed the bulbs. We changed everything else. They checked the wiring. Nothing. Flickering. Flicker. I would sometimes, when I worked on the psychic line, I would work that, what do they call that? Oh, the graveyard. Hello. I would call the graveyard. I would work the graveyard shift, and I would sit over here. There's a sofa behind me, and I would sit on the sofa, and I would keep the light on in the hall, or in the bathroom rather. And one night I was sitting there, and you know, the crack between the door frame where the door hinges to the door frame, there, my darlings, on the bottom was a little hand that came through that and wrapped around the door, and then unwrapped and went back into the bathroom. Now, it would have to be behind the door. There's nothing behind the door. Nothing. Give me a second, my darlings. Somebody tried to call me. Why? A little hand this time, about the size of that hand, like a doll hand. What's with these hands? The hand. I have a story about the hand. A Marie Laveau hand. Listen, We could go, you and I, my darlings, we could all get in a big van and we could drive 3,000, 3,500 miles cross country. And I would still be talking when we left and when we got there with all the things that I have to say. Pardon me. So a little tiny hand. You can bet I jumped up, ran to the bathroom, looked behind the door, nothing. Nothing. I leave and I see the lights flickering. Okay. Oh, good. Ashley's driving. Captain's driving. We're set. We've got a bus driver who's crowd control. We've got to work all that out. Anyway, I don't think, no, you don't have to download an app with Patreon. You can use it. I don't have it on my phone. I have it on my desktop only. So you can do desktop, iPad, wherever it's comfortable. At least to be entertaining. That's right. So we get, my darlings, to the point where things are quiet. Then all of a sudden the cat starts seeing orbs. I do have some videos. I'll show you one day. The cats have orbs as long as we have snacks. Snacks and security, okay, we're good. And Bilbo, my kitty, who is very attuned to a lot of these things, would sit on this little dresser-like thing, pardon me, in the hall. Dee, thanks for being here, my darlings. Big love to you. Big love. There you go, Laura B. She's got a ticket to ride. He would sit on the credenza in the hall and would be looking up toward the ceiling and would be meowing. And when I took video, there's orbs flying all around. Orbs. Now, an orb, my darling, is an energy that is trying to manifest into more and they just can't. That's it. They're not going to be any bigger, any better than an orb. Done. It's over. Nada. Good night, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here, my darling. Oh, yes, Lisa. Okay. So there were some scary things, especially the screams that were happening. That hadn't happened in a while. Every now and then there was the scream, but it's calmed down because I had to really, I mean, I got my iron out. I did the thing. And not my steam iron, my iron as in stuff. But I did the thing. I don't know if somebody, pardon me, went up there and opened some type of portal. I mean, we live near a college campus. So those things happen. There was a young lady one time that, thank you, my darling. Thank you, rock and roll. There was a young lady one time, and I live right beside, or not live, I work, my desk, my table is right beside the front window, and then the front door is over that way. There's a walkway. You have to come down and around, you know, the walk to come to the front door is, you know, you just can't walk up. You have to wind around. This young girl from upstairs comes down and I see her picking leaves and she's got all this stuff and, you know, whatever. And she's right here by the window laying leaves and stuff. She didn't see that I was sitting here. I think she got scared of me because I used to sit here with the window open, not thinking people were listening. And they would sit on the steps going upstairs and listen to me talking and, you know, whatever. So I think it scared her and it was some type of protection. She was getting protection from me. So that's okay. Where do I get my iron? That is a great question. It depends on how big of the iron that I need. I have iron needles sometimes that I take with me. I have an iron, you know what a safety pin? I have an iron like safety pin that I pin some things on, and I wear it on the inside, like I'll pin it to my blouse or, other things. And or I'll go to like a Home Depot or something like that. Sometimes they have the iron spikes. And I've had them before. I've had places that you go into a place that has ironworks. Where do you find iron safety pins? You have to look online. Sometimes they have them on Amazon, but needles are made out of iron. They're very flexible. There's steel like needles that you sew with. It depends. So it depends on, what you get. You can definitely iron railroad spikes, and you can go to the like an ironworks store, a place that they do the iron stairways and sorry sister, iron spike, road spikes or whatever. Yeah, that's big. Witches and demons. That's why I said I wish. I'd be afraid to do it though, for fear I would get upset or, get in trouble. But I wish cast iron, I don't know if cast iron would do it. I'll have to look into it. That's good to know because I've got all kinds of cast iron. I don't know. Can you use cast iron as a railroad spike? Anyway, you might be able to get those. Iron doors, yeah. Fancy neighborhoods, that's right. But I always said that I would certainly love to have an iron or to go up to Dedham, Canton, put some iron in the yards of the courthouse. Things could change. The best way I protect my home is salt. Salt. I put salt in the four corners of my home, and just little sprinkles will do it. Also blessed olive oil, and I take blessed olive oil, salt and blessed olive oil with me when I go on a paranormal thing. And I bless myself, we pray, I bless everybody before we go in. And see, I didn't do that when we were going into the Amityville house because this realtor was shaking like a dog having whatever. And so I didn't do that. And I wondered if that would have made a change. I think so. What about sage or Palo Santo? Both. But I'm a fan of salt. And the reason being is because salt has been used for this century, since the day one, to protect and preserve. And there's a little saying that you can use, and that is, you can do it on the four corners of your properties too. Absolutely. You can do, here's your little thing. Salt doesn't hurt. Salt doesn't lie. Salt will only purify. Because you use salt to preserve and protect. And that's what I would do. Yeah. Shaky dog. Yeah. Something like that. Now mental image of Zelda walking to place brandishing a cast iron. Honey, right? Any salt, you can use any salt. I like coarse sea salt, kosher salt, but you got to bless it first. That's your key. Make sure you bless the salt. Just don't be, tossing salt. I'm going to tell you another little thing, right? Why I like the salt. Because with these chickens in the South, there are fleas. And sometimes I believe the flea should be the state bird because they're just flipping all over. And salt, pardon me, will help to keeps the, like spiders and all kinds of stuff. I sprinkle salt in the carpets because it kills anything like that that's in there. because salt could literally, I mean, salt will cut them. Batter up, Zelda is going to beat the evil. That's right. Hello. Reminds me, Lady Zelda, you said on 34 card reading earlier how the energy couldn't lie because it didn't have conscious profound. Yes. See, energy doesn't lie. So that's why, my darlings, I try to go one step further. And by the way, I want to say this. If there is a young lady, I don't know what your first name is. Maybe I do and I've forgotten. But if there is a young lady who has the channel, no, wait a minute, Beyond the Veil. Now, there are two channels. I got kind of mixed up. This one is B-E-E, as in the little B, Beyond the Veil, who has shouted me out so many times. And I want to thank you, my darling. And if you're here listening, because I know you watch, you're awesome. And I'm very proud of your readings and you're doing great. Keep up the good work on the Cartomancy because you're learning and you need to learn and listen to what the cards tell you their meanings are. You can get a guidance. There's nothing wrong with that. You can write the meanings, sister. You can write the meanings on your cards, but allow them, allow the meanings to speak to you because energy doesn't lie. It only purifies. Beyond the Veil. Yes, Debbie, thank you. Debbie wrote to me and told me that what a kind young lady. I watch her. She did reading on, on the Idaho 4 kids. Yep. I'm going to tell you something. We may dig into on Patreon on the Idaho 4 because there's something there that's not right. Yeah, she's a good lady. But you got to trust the energy. You got to trust the cards because when you're tapping into the energy like that, just like I have these guides, you can go get them. I've written them. They're all about Cartomancy, tarot, the hidden, the Kipper deck. No, I don't think so either, Mary. I know, Grace, and it was so kind. You guys wrote to me, and I watched that, and I was just flabbergasted. She's got really pure energy, and I appreciate her and her readings. The Piotnik, I love the Piotnik deck, the older one that I have. Let's see, I had a question here. Let me go back. There's a lot. Listen, and I'm going to tell you one thing. There's a lot. Once you get into things, as you can tell with me, sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place, but there's so much information, and I feel that we have so little time to just learn, be sponges, and absorb, know the truth, know what we're here for, what our purpose is for, that the more you know, the more you have to know. It's kind of like when I really started into the theology in 1994, it was wild because it's like the more you study, the more you want to study, the more there is. You never stop learning. And that's how I feel. I mean, I learned something, sis. I learned something from the cards every day. There's not a day I don't learn something from the cards. The gap blessing is okay. Wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Beyond the Veil. Yes. There's a lot. Okay. How do you bless salt? Passion flower. Bless you and thanks for being here. I take my blessings from the Bible, from James chapter 5. And in there, it talks about using the oil of our people. And I use that same blessing for salt. If you don't have James chapter 5, In the Bible, all you have to do is say, in the name of Jesus, I'm blessing this salt to protect, to purify, to, whatever your words, your humbleness you want to say. You don't have to worry about being eloquent because prayer is not supposed to be that way. And your salt is blessed. You can bless water, you can bless oil. So I use olive oil, but just know that when you bless your oil and your salt, you can't cook with, you should not cook with it again. Just know that. Just know that. Let me see back here. She does do amazing readings. She's very good. I'm just humbled by the fact that she shouted me out. And I just think it's very sweet of her to do that. Yeah, let me see. Lady Z seems to just put the cards out, come what may. She doesn't seem to struggle. Well, sometimes this is really weird. I don't depend on the cards because I can literally read without them. But I know that everybody wants to see them. And quite frankly, I enjoy seeing them too. I'm going to be making a new deck for myself. I'm not going to sell it. The more you know. Da, da, da. I'm not going to sell it. It's going to be for me, but it's going to be helpful. And it's going to be the dark house. It's going to be the dark side. It's going to be the dark house. Because I know it's weird, and I've said it, I don't have a deck that will go that dark. And sometimes I need to. With these cases, I used to have one a long time ago, and it kind of scared me. Why did it scare me? Well, I didn't have a lot of... I didn't have a lot of experience then. And the meanings were coming out right on, real. And that scared me. So I got rid of the deck. Last night, my darling, Brooks was here. I love it. Shawshank. Last night was the super moon, which was the hunter's moon, which was the beaver moon. So yeah, we're kind of in that shadow period of the moon right now. Thank you, Melissa, my darling. Love how you apply research, knowledge, and biblical truth to the spiritual space. Thank you. Well, you know what? That's where it comes from. That's where all knowledge comes from there. And I think once you understand that there is a knowledge base that you can depend on, your faith, pardon me, it's amazing. Oh, I see. My point was sharing your baby's whiskers is love. Yes. They leave them. It's like, oh, here, have a whisker or two, mommy. Okay, sure. I'll share them. You know what I used to do? I used to send them out to people. People who would need an extra blessing, something like that. Sorry, I got an itchy. People would need an extra I would send them a cat whisker and say, here's your little blessing. That's when I lived near a post office. Oh, there you go. That's a good thing, Debbie. Just use the plain salt. You can use listen, I've used all kinds. I've used kosher, pink Himalayan, whatever makes your little boats float. Trust the energy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kat. Thank you. I got to talk to Kat Randall. Do you know that Kat Randall called me? I'm not going to tell what we talked about, but it was a very special call, and I appreciate that. And it was a wonderful surprise. Who knew? There have been so many dark ones lately, Mary. This stuff, just like with this house, I don't even know. I mean, somebody asked me a long time ago, how do you know what deck of cards you use? Well, it depends on the energy of the subject. Like there are certain cards that I certainly wouldn't use on somebody that, was wanting to find out if they were going to get a job or if they're going to get married or something like that, right? I certainly wouldn't do that. But I wonder if I'm getting talked about on Twitter. I don't think so. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Well, we'll know it if I am. We'll know it if I am. Okay, I don't really care anyway. I'm just curious. Because, anytime anybody gets upset, they go and they clip things. I don't give it. I like how you keep it on the side of life and not death or scary things. Well, I grew up with some scary readers in our area. And my grandmother was not a scary reader. In fact, she would tell them off. She would tell them where to go. And, my grandma was a pistol. And, she, bottom line, always said, you don't scare people into believing they need a reading and then scare them to the point where they feel they need to come back. And many people now even do that. And I think it's very sad. My job is to be here when people need somebody to talk to. And for those out there who keep ragging me that it's against God to read cards and everything, okay, then fine. I'll make a deal. You tell your pastors to start treating and teaching the Word of God as truth. Start teaching it the way that it needs to be taught, and I'll quit. My job is over. Because the pastors aren't teaching the right thing. So people can't come and feel like they can talk to a pastor. Why? Because they feel like they get judged. There's no judgment here. My goodness, my darlings, I've been through it all. And then some. Who am I to judge? I can't, and I won't. Does it have to be a special salt? No, my darling, it does not. Anything. You can, those little salt packets that you get from Wendy's or the fast food, you can do that. Whatever you want to do. Thank you, Melissa. That's why I love you guys too. Thank you, thank you. Oh, and boy, did I make sure my jar was outside in the big old moon too. Good for you, Kelly. Good for you. Do you save your baby's whiskers? I know. I love it. I love it. Thank you, rock and roll. Okay, between 3 and 3:38 is when the coyotes go through our neighborhood. I know they're dangerous, but I would love to see that. There's just something about that type of nature thing. I'll tell you about the time one of these days that I was I know it was a skinwalker in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, pounding on a cabin door that I was staying. There in the Appalachian Mountains and the Great Smoky Mountains, you do not go out there alone. There's a place, what they call the spur, in between Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, is called Norton Creek. You do not go back there alone. You do not. There are witches back there. And of all things, Shrek and I drove back in there one time, and there was a gated place, and there was somebody coming out, and we snuck in. And when we got to the end, there was all kinds of weird statues, big. Weird statues. There was a huge, great big field-looking place in the middle of the mountains. I know it was for a UFO landing site. And by the way, I got to tell you this. You guys are going to love this. Then we're going to, because I'm not going to keep you too long. Let me sec. Thank you, Melissa. You guys are so sweet. Are salt lamps beneficial? Yes, but keep them away from your animals because sometimes they'll help. Zelda, do you bless a spike? Yes. Everything I do like that, even when I wear a cross. And I'm going to tell you this. about crosses. Somebody asked me the other day, and I might as well say it. I love crosses, but I won't buy a cross that has Christ hanging on it. And here's why. In the Word, it tells us to not re-crucify Christ. And to me, when you've got a cross, and you know what, if you do, okay, it's not a sin, but sometimes we have to know these things. And there we are. But yes, everything that I take into a place, everything that I use in my home, everything, my cards, everything. Bless, bless, bless. But I'll show you, you'll see the cards. I'm going to make them. I don't think that they're going to be scary, but they may touch on the darker side, so prepare. Because let's face it, this whole thing doesn't scare me as much as the human beings, if you want to call them that, sometimes, that we live around. That's right. The pastors. I'm not here to judge, but I know what their doctrine is, and I know there's a lot of good people, but I think they're off. And that's one of those things that you get sucked into. Yeah, skinwalkers. I got to tell you, you guys are going to love this. They're where I live. Oh yeah, Stephanie, my gosh, yes. Girl, oh my goodness. My wolf dog used to howl on our porch when coyotes would be yipping it up, shout them up. Oh, I love it. I love it. My hubby knew someone who had 3 Maine Coons. Do you not love Maine Coons? And they're illegal in some of these states. I don't know why. They hunted in a pack and brought down a coyote once. I believe that. All 3 cats lived to tell the tale. The coyote did not. Did you see about that Pyrenees? I believe he was in Kentucky. Was a sheepdog, and he was older. Took on a pack of, I wanted to cry. Took on a pack of, they came down to get his sheep, and he fought them off all night and unalived several of them. And finally, when they found this Pyrenees, he was tore up. But dear God, they could not put him out again. He was beat up pretty bad. But can you get that? My gosh, that little sweetheart. Just bought the cargo guide. There you go. A book. I need to. What I really want to do is, first of all, my darlings, I want to get moved. And I want to tell you this. That's okay. Don't worry about your spelling. Listen. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. I will write a book. What I want to do, my darlings, and I'm kind of excited because I found last night that the house that I wanted to buy sold. Now, why am I excited? Because that means that there's something way better out there for me. And that I don't have to I wasn't going to settle, but I wasn't going to accept some of the things. That's okay. I'm excited because I'm that much closer to getting that, number 1. Number 2, I got to tell you guys this. You're absolutely right. Once I get settled, because you know what? I don't feel settled where I am. Yes, I will get moved, and Patty, I promise I will get a P.O. box. Yes. But I got to tell you guys this, and then we'll have our little giveaway. The other night we were talking about the UFO crash site, Area 51. That was a good show. I have to say that. I loved bringing that to you because I love that kind of, I love that stuff. Okay. What's meant for me will never pass me by. I believe that too. Wallen, Tennessee, close to Gatlinburg, has a lot of haunted places. Yes, they do, my darling, and I'm planning on going, Miss Stephanie. Yes, ma'am. Miss Jerry's going to come and be my driver. Bless her. Bless her. So I got to tell you this. The other night we had that, and remember how I said, do I think that was Atlas? Uh, I I'm not so sure this 31 Atlas is what the big hype is supposed to be. I'm not so sure that there is. I'm going to say, I'm going to leave, stay tuned. Because there are always those, okay, that, oh, here's an opportunity for clicks. Be careful. I try not to clickbait somebody. Because the stuff why clickbait when I've got the truth to tell? So, right? Okay. I'm on the fence on that. I don't buy into the, oh my God, buy all the groceries. I don't buy into that. There's so much more out there. And I think if we even knew, we would probably hide. If you come, maybe we can meet I would be honored to do that, Stephanie. That sounds like fun. We'll try to do that. We'll try to do that. Okay. So here we are talking about Area 51. Had a great night. And first of all, I hope you enjoyed this story because I don't like to get personal, but I wanted to show you what can happen when you go out to a house that's you don't know, that's sus, and that you are unprotected because I did not get grounded properly, and it was really my fault because I should have known better. I allowed the excitement of going into this house, which nobody is allowed to go into, even with the new owners. It's locked up, hello. So yeah, I wanted to kind of like take out tonight and say, this is it. Thank you so much, Patty. So anyway, I mentioned that I did not like that movie Signs. So we shined off. I went in the kitchen, got me a little snacky, went in my bedroom, turned on AMC, and what movie do you think was on? Signs. I texted Ian. I said, you will not believe Signs is on. He's laughing. He is laughing. There's no more Shrek, Mitchell, my darling. Oh my goodness, Miss Jules, 69 there in Southwest Florida. Oh my. Sarasota is beautiful. I love Sarasota. That's a beautiful place to be. You never know where Zelda may be from one day to the next. I just want to get to where I want to get, unpack, and then boom. We really hunker down and get her done. All right, so that was number one. Then the other night, didn't have anything to watch. And I was thinking about that UFO, thinking about more content, thinking about Mercury, thinking about mermaids, thinking about the pentagram that is in Washington. And there's some reasons that things are happening right now. And I found this show. Now, I know you all have heard of it. It is called Okay, Captain Harris. If I didn't want to live in Tennessee so bad, I would consider going to Florida again. But I get scared of these hurricanes. I'm sorry. That does. So, my darlings, I turn the TV on and I'm flicking. And sometimes I lay the opposite way in my bed. Why do I do that? Where I put my feet where the head is and that? Because it gives you a different perspective on things. If you ever wanted to get a different perspective before you go to bed, lay the opposite way in your bed. It helps. So, I'm laying the opposite way, thinking about clicking through my little Roku, and what do I see? UFO Cowboy. UFO Cowboys. There's a show. It's supposed to be a reality where these 4 or 5 gentlemen who are cowboys from the great state of Colorado are going out and helping this one rancher because he's getting crop circles, and there's something taking his cattle, and there's something living in his barn. So they're looking there, and I'm thinking, oh, I was on the fence. I thought, oh, I just don't know. And then this older cowboy, they were in the barn, and he lifts up this tarp. I think it was burlap. And he puts it down real slow. He says, I never thought I'd see this again. And the one cowboy looks at him and goes, what's going on? I think his name is Jeff. He said, what's going on, Jeff? And he says, boys, I think we just crossed the gates of hell. I thought I'd come off of that bed. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, okay, sign me up. When's this on? There's 2 seasons. Come on, we're going to be binge watching. That is a show. They've got crop circles. It's real stuff. One of their horses got, well, I get nervous with horses. They found the horse. The horse had been gone for I don't know how long. They found the horse. They put it in this pasture. And I'm like, oh my heck, don't roll. Because you know, a horse, if they're upset or they're sick or something, they'll start rolling. What does that horse do? It drops and rolls. I'm thinking, well, I'm here for this. Colorado, I'm here. And you know, that's where DJ is from Calling All Beings. And by the way, my darlings, mark on your calendars, November the 18th, I will be as a guest, UFO Cowboys on Roku. I will be as a guest on Calling All Beings with our lovely friend, Boston Bia, with our lovely friend, Janet Misdemeanor, another young lady that I've not met, but I know her. She is a private investigator. And there's a couple more. I will be announcing it as the time comes. It's a Tuesday night. If you could please do that. I might try to stream it as well. But my darlings, oh my, hello. We'll have a good time. So I've got to figure out, here's the thing. I got to figure out how I can be in Ladies' Night is exactly what it is. I got to figure out how I can be in someone else's stream and collaborate and stream within their stream. They do it with me, and that's great. They're welcome to. But I may do that as well. So I just want you to know, sit down, so you poor little chicken. So yes. So anyway, what are you angry? You see this tail? When a cat swishes their tail like that, it means that they're annoyed. She's annoyed at me right now because I don't know what she's wanting to do. But anyway, my darlings, how's about this? Let's have a drawing. Let's have a drawing. Where are you? Hello, my darlings. I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh and sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes a time we have to say so long. Yep, there you go. Giddy up. All right, there we are. Now let me share my screen. And we're going to have this. Now, my darlings, do me a favor. When you win, where is this? What? Oh, there we are. When you win, contact me and I will send over your prize. Let me show you what the word of the day is. And let's go. It is hashtag fun. Hashtag fun, my darlings. Let's go. This is it. Hashtag fun. I want to thank you all for being so generous. There's a Venmo that came in. Thank you. Roxanne, you little sweetheart, darling. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? I love you guys so much, but we're gonna do the paranormal content. We're gonna do all this stuff. Let's go, babies. Thank you, Roxanne. You're so generous to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Carol Burnett is right. Someone gifted me a membership. Don't know, but I wanted to say thank you. Well, you know what, my darling, you just did. And thank you for being here. Bless you. You guys are such a blessing to both Ian and I. Now, after you voted and after you entered and you put your fun into the chat, put a 1 in there if you'd like to have another game night with Ian and I. Just a game night, talk without the fundraiser because we had too much going on. But this way, Ian and I can talk with you. Would you like to have him have another game night in this channel? Maybe, yes, of course. And maybe he shoots some zombies. Hey, he needs to finish the game. So Ian, if you're out there and you're hearing this, the chat is ringing with 1s. My late husband just had left there. Oh, my darling. We want more of Ian, please. Thank you, Captain Jerry. Thank you. You guys are so kind. Always a good. I want this to be an uplifting channel. And, I'm sorry that, that person felt upset. But you know what? It's okay. Sometimes I get upset too, and I understand that. But we're good. My son is a gamer. I love the gaming with Ian. Oh, good. Go ask Alice. I love that too. Way to go. Thank you so much, Miss Jules. Let's go, guys. I want you all to be winning a prize. There we are. Uplifting chat. Coming over, enjoyed myself a lot. Thank you, Linda. I'm hoping sometimes that the content just isn't too intense. I get really into some intense stuff. Zelda, I caught myself saying, let her rip, tater chip, the other day. Good. You know why I say girls just want to have fun, right? You know why I say those things? Isn't it so much fun? To me, it's more fun than just cussing, right? You can't get there's not too many combinations that you can get creative with when, maybe I could. I used to listen. But then it just didn't fit me anymore. I don't have a problem with anybody saying whatever they want to say. It's fine with me, but it doesn't fit me. I like to be creative. I like to be a little creative on things. My son came out to me as a gamer in a very serious conversation. It was so cute. Aw, I think that's great. I was living in SoCal when that happened. Wonderful. It's all good. Staying positive in your own thinking. Thank you, Despise. Zelda, I just don't understand that there are ads running. Hold on. Side by side, you in the videos lately, and they use all the words topics straightly forbidden in the program. Go figure. Well, you know why, my darlings? Those are ads that pay YouTube to be on here. That's why. So YouTube isn't going to say, oh, tisk tisk, how dare you? We're not going to make any money. You cannot put your ad on here because we saying these bad, nasty things. Yeah, I know. I see them too. Welcome back, niece. Welcome back. If the content is too much, hydrate, electrolytes, and little snacks without sugar. Yes, cat. There you go. Well, ding dong doodle smack me with a noodle, used as an expression of surprise or shock. Mine sometimes can be well heck. That's it. Well heck. Well heck. Sometimes I use my grandmother's favorite word, but pretty much. And sometimes I hear Ian ripping off a few. But you know what? So what? So what in life? So what? I'm not so pure that I mean, my goodness. He's not a druggie. He's not an alkie. He's a good man. He cares. He does everything for everybody. There we go. I wanted to say it. You know it. You know I wanted to say it. You know I did. Thank you, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. YouTube is. They sure are. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. My dad used to say dollars to donuts. Sometimes I say that. What I say too is when the rubber meets the road. Are you an F-bomber? Oh, really? That's amazing. You know what I used to say? I'll say it to you guys, and you guys can laugh. I used to say this. I don't say it anymore, but I think it's so funny. When we get to the nut cutting, that's serious. You are proud, and so are we. If you know, you know, forget the negative. Yes, that's right. My mom was a diehard clean speaker. The worst I ever heard was SOB, just initials, right? My grandmother would spell it out. Aren't they an ASS? And it wasn't an ASS, it was a double S. Oh, let's get fancy, Graham. Or PISS, she would say. They need to have the PISS knocked out of their ASS. Whoa, calm down, Grandma. I never heard anybody say anything in my family at all. Son of a biscuit eater. That's it. Son of a biscuit box right there. HE double hockey sticks. Hi, green-eyed darling. How are you? All those old you know what? Isn't that funny? And now remember, these girls, and I used to call them the girls. These girls, my grandmother and mother, were the Hollywood wannabes. They would make their clothes. My grandmother was, someday I'll show you the pictures. Claudette Colbert, and my mother was Grace Kelly, because my mother graduated in 1954. Oh my heck. And she would make that movie Rear Window came out the year that she graduated, and she would draw out what she wanted to make and sippity doo-dah. I call my grandpa little Schnicky. Aw. Mom says, oh boy, almond joy. Yeah, see, there you go. Yes, green-eyed, that's good, my darling. Hot diggity dog. Remember that song? Hot diggity dog diggity boom. Such a thrill to me. Remember that? My parents never cussed unless Dad was really mad. Then he'd let one slip, and Mom hated that. See, I think that's funny. Now I see all these people. Oh my gosh. It's like every other word. Things that are used or should be used as adverbs are just used as nouns. And it's just like, hello. I can cuss better than most. It's just not needed to make a point. See, I could probably do it too. But, sometimes I just ask myself, why? Why? Can't live in fear, right? Treasure of it. Get this. My mom graduated in 1939, same year as The Wizard of Oz, and I'm a couple years younger than you. Oh, really? Bless you. Yeah, my mom was kind of young when she had me. It's Aska. I won't drive over the Skyway in Tampa. It scares me Yep, see, I can't do that. I can't do that. All right, I think, my darlings, we are here. Last call. We're going to have a drawing now. Last call. Last call. My mother was born, I think, in 36. Last call, my darlings. Here we go. We have 41. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. Get in there. Jump in there. Let's go. Hashtag fun. Ready? We're drawing. We're drawing. Here we are. Let's go. Oh, yeah. If I said, Mary, look at you. Hold on. Got to get the applause button going. There's Mary. She won. She won tonight. Have you won before, Mary? If you have, we may have to draw again. I don't think you did. Wait, oh heck, what am I doing here? Applause. We're just going to give a little. There we are. There we are. Congratulations, Mary. I love to say, bless your heart. It's the nicest way to say you wrong. They do that a lot in the South. Oh, bless your little pea-picking heart. Green-eyed, you're so cute. I love you too, my darling. I want to do a casino trip. Go in the high-limit room, have ungodly amounts of Mountain Dew, a few snacks, win some serious money, and laugh like a hyena. There you go, Mary. Mary. Quite contrary. Are you here, darling? She's got my email. You can email me. Mary. Yes, and yes, green-eyed. Listen, if we do that. Okay, you didn't win before, did you, Mary? I didn't think you did. My mom was born in 1927 or 28. Her home birth certificate wasn't legible. Aw, she never really knew. Parents passed young. Oh, isn't that something? Aw, I'm here. Okay. You didn't. Okay, okay. It was somebody else I was thinking about. Wonderful. Email me, Mary, and I'll send you the code for you being a winner. The code. So I hope you have all enjoyed tonight. It's not over. It's not over. We might bring one back here between now and the end of the year. Watch for it. I need a little break. All these heavy stories, and I want to get into some more card readings again. But my darlings, it's about time to go and say goodbye to this time. Can you believe it? We've been at this for what? At least 6 weeks. More, maybe 8 weeks. But that's okay. So hang tight now, because Saturday night is going to be a big night. Saturday night, we are celebrating, my darlings, I'm not going to be doing any more shows on Thursday. It's just going to be Monday nights and Saturdays. Unless we do something. Unless something comes up, we might. Pardon me. So, Saturday night, we are celebrating True Oracle 13,000 and my channel 14,000. Pardon me, I've got the hiccups. Oh, sissy, sit down, you angel. And I love going to the casino. You guys, listen. I want you to know, I got to tell you this. If something ever happened to this channel, I want you to look up One Slot Mama, because I have a channel already set up, and I would go right to a casino channel. I would still read cards and do everything, but I've helped a lot of people do the casino channels. I would do a casino channel. That's how much I love the casinos. I love it. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. All my little chickens, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this evening's wild, way off, haunted house. I'm going to do it again. We'll do it again. But my darlings, you know what? It's not come to an end. I don't want you to feel sad. We're going to be doing these again. There's going to be more come out. Believe me, there's going to be way more come. So hang tight. I want you to have a good rest of the evening. Eat some good things. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. It's Friday. Let's prepare for Saturday and the Mercury retrograde coming. From Ian and I in the House of Zelda, I want to thank you for a very successful last episode of Help, I'm Haunted. And I will see you all very, very soon. I love you. Thank you to my mods. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. And I will see you again. Bye for now. And so, the lantern fades, but the shadows remain. This story may end here, or perhaps it's only just begun. See you soon.